Okay, well, looking to plant a peach tree. I got a little different way of doing things here. Here's the tree. It's middle of winter, so yeah, it's well, middle of winter in South Texas. It's 81 degrees right now, but we've had some cold nights, so it's in hibernation mode. So here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna put this into an above ground but below ground planter. So I've got these little stepping stones. They're very inexpensive, like $1 each, and I'm going to stand them up. So I'm going to keep pausing the video and coming back because digging the hole was quite a lot of work that you don't want to watch. And I'm putting the dirt over here. I'm going to mix that with some compost, some perlite, vermiculite, whatever else I can find to throw in there. And then I'm going to redo this, but I'm going to set this up and show you what it's going to look like and my idea behind all this. So I'll be back. Okay, starting to get going here. I'm using the rebarb to hold these up. This is a temporary thing, just hammering them into the ground, little 2-foot links, and standing this up. Once I fill up the inside with the dirt and the mixture, then they'll be pushing outwards. All I need to do is make sure they can't fall out, which is what the rebarb is doing temporarily. But I'm not done with that. I've got a better way to do this when I've got it finished. I wanted to mention that I do have them staggered. So this one goes to that one's corner, and this one's going to go to that one's corner, and so on. I'll show you here in a second, but that's part of the idea, a little more structural something. We'll see. Anyway, as you can see, well mixed. Well, sort of. Okay, so put the tree back in here. It is a little below the top of the, I'm too close, sorry, I can't see my screen there. A little below the top so that I can put mulch on top or a little extra dirt here and there and so forth. But now basically the whole root ball, almost all of it, is above ground where we started. So now all of this will be good for drainage and aeration, and well, we're not finished yet. I gotta fill in all this fancy sort of mixed stuff. Anyway, we'll get back and I'll show you what we get done. Okay, kind of worked out like I wanted it to. As you can see, I have some gaps here. That's actually good, because what I plan to do next is, in place of the rebarb, I'm going to put T-post. You're like, oh, that'd look ugly. But what I'm doing is I'm cutting the T-post into 2-foot lengths, and I'm going to put 1 foot below ground and 1 foot up, well, up to near the top of this, or right up at the top. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. I got to go buy the T-post. But right now, this is the overall design, the idea. And this is what I wanted it to look like. As you see, it's above ground. So now I have a lot of extra room to handle things like companion planting on top, and I can control weeds a lot better. I can certainly do things with watering, because now it can drain better, and my tree hopefully will turn out nicely, and I will keep you posted on that. When I get back with the T-post, I'll have that in. I want to say I used 1 bag of the fertilizer, which is, no, I'm sorry, it is for trees, it is a compost, it is not fertilizer. And a bunch of perlite, and you can see I still have quite a bit left of the original dirt and the new mixture that I'm going to use as this waters in and settles to, backfill the rest of it. Just not tight packed, but just in there. The tree is still at the level that was in the pot. This little graft, I guess, or not, was right at the top of the surface, so it still is. I would suggest you put this bend facing north, as I've been told that's good for the plant, although I'm not sure if that's really true or not. Anyway, okay, more on the way. Okay, it took me about a week to get back out here. The tree seems happy. The base looks pretty decent, but of course it's got this 3-rod. And I've cut me up a piece of T-post. This was galvanized T-post. I've never seen galvanized before, but here it is. Cut it into about 2-foot lengths, about 2 foot 2 inches. And I'm gonna put those right between those seams where the rebarb's holding it now. And I'm gonna just start on, I don't know, one side, and then I'm gonna push it around and try to squeeze everything nice and tight as I'm going. And I'll get you a video after I've got this done, because it's kind of hard to do the same thing both at once. Okay, getting started here. Gloves, safety eyewear, hearing protection. I'm just kind of pushing these back straight to level as I'm tapping this in between. You can kind of see what I'm doing there. and I'm going to squeeze them as I go around. Try not to lose too much dirt or anything. And I'm just going to take that down to about level with the top of the stones. I'll see how that goes here in just a minute. This seems to help. You want to make sure we keep it right up and down as close as you can to the seam. And I'm using the rebar to help me keep my shape as I'm going. I've only done these two, of course, that one's in. And I learned that it likes to lean if you're not careful. So pay attention, keep it kind of leaning towards the middle, and it'll stay nice and straight up and down like these are. My foot down here. Don't hit your foot, of course, that's not a good idea. Anyway, right back. So, that's a lot of work, but these are only going in the ground 1 foot. Once they're in the ground, you'll notice that my first ones, I didn't get very well lined up. That would be the last joint there, and it's pretty decent. This is the first one I did. Not only was it leaning a little bit, it also leaned out a little bit, so I corrected that late, but by waiting a week to do this, I have one nice advantage. As you can see how the dirt's pulled away there, if I needed to, I could completely remove a section to work on something, like bending that back, and then gently and carefully slide the section back into place. Another thing is down here, if it's unlevel, you need to dig out just a little bit on one side or the other, or just take your hammer and squish it down a little bit so that it'll be more compact there, and you can make these line up better. If you're going to take one out though, do it slow, and if you wait a week or so, then maybe your stuff won't fall out like mine just held together nicely. So now I'm going to work on aligning these corners a little bit. You can see I can also push as my hand. It's still soft enough I can move it. This whole thing can move, but once I get it aligned the way I want it, the dirt itself will push them out. And this side's going to lean a little bit because I didn't get it as straight as the other ones. But all in all, it turned out pretty good. And there you have it. Nice little box. Cost about, let's see. The bricks were $2 each. The post was, I guess it was $9 for the post, T-post. No, I needed 2 of them. So $18 for T-post because I needed 2 feet, four increments of 2 feet. So that's 8 foot. If you can find an 8 foot post, then you would just need 1 post, but I needed 2 6 foot ones. Anyway, so I've got some for my next projects, the other trees I've got out here. But for now, this one looked pretty good, did nicely. I can't think of anything else I would want it to do. We'll see how it holds up over the next couple of years.